Good afternoon, everybody. I've had a lot of questions about formatting journal article references. They are kind of weird, but once you get the hang of them, it's not so bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one together, and I'm going to show you where to look up the DOI in case the library can't give it to you. So, we're going to do two things today: journal article references and DOIs. And they're not called DOIs, even though that'd be more fun to do. So, we got to be somewhat professional. So here we go. As you can see on the screen, we have Tunk and Kumar's paper entitled Work from Home, a New Virtual Reality. Doesn't that sound awesome? It comes from the website Current Psychology. It's, it has a volume number of 42. And in volume 42, this article was part of issue 34. That's how you read these two goofy numbers. The first one is the volume, which is made of bundled issues. And the second number here is actually the issue number, so the 34th issue. So if you were to go to the library, let's say you actually walked into the library, you'd see a whole shelf full of these things. And you would see, oh, okay, they broke them up by volume numbers. Okay, great. So you go to volume 42, and there'd be a big box. And in this big box, you'd have several documents. Issue 34, whatever document that is the one that would contain Tunk's and Kumar's article. That's not so bad, right? Now, okay. And if you look at it, it's going to be on pages 30,665 to 30,677. As you can tell, this is a very big journal, and you can see why they break it up across numerous issues. Because even if you divide 30,000 by 34, each issue is still pretty big. So obviously, Current Psychology is a very busy place. Now, we need to sit down and format this thing before we do anything else. The first thing we're going to do is this. We're going to grab the bow tie, and we're going to give it a hanging indent, just like we did in the other video. Okay, remember, the bottom of the bow tie is the hanging indent. The top is the indent for the first line. If you drag the entire bow tie, it moves all the text over to the left. So just be careful on that. Now this has a hanging indent. We're going to go back to paragraph and a little arrow thing like before where it says paragraph settings. Fine tune the layout of the current paragraph, including spacing, blah, 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 blah. Woohoo, click that. Okay. Now you can see, just like before, we have 0 points before and after. So there's no extra white spaces between entries. And we also chose double space because that's what we do. We can also see that by setting the bow tie, it automatically set the hanging indent. So good. We're all good. We're just going to click on OK. Ta-da. This is also Times New Roman 12 point, so that's awesome too. Now, when you do a journal article entry into references, you have to do this. You make the title of the journal and the volume number in emphasis or italics. In APA, you'll hear the two words used interchangeably. They're the same thing. When you emphasize something in APA, you use italics. That's just APA jargon, welcome to APA. Once you have this, you have a pretty well formatted, journal article for your references. But now we need DOI. So let's imagine we didn't know what the DOI was, and we went to the library, just didn't know the DOI, or it was wrong, or something happened. So what we do is we go to this website up here, search.crossref.org. This is a place that contains all the DOIs that have ever been issued, because Crossref is the one who issues the DOIs. DOIs are just not a way to provide a persistent link to a document. It's also a way to track which journal articles are associated with legitimate journals. You're going to find that predatory journals, which are journals that will publish anything of any quality for money. So basically, you can give it AI-generated garbage, send in $400 and get it published with your name on it. And they don't care. Those are called predatory journals. They take money and they just pump out trash into the research world. What can I say? Part of research is a business, and sometimes that business is, a little bit on the seedy side. And this is a good example. So what we're going to say is, okay, if our article has a DOI, it's legit. So let's go find out. So we're going to go to search.crossref.org. We are going to copy the title here. And we are going to pop it into the box here. There we go. And once you do that, you click enter and you give it a second. It grinds away, and there it is. Wow. Work from home, a new virtual reality. journal article published in Current Psychology. Excellent. By Tunk and Kumar. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this and copy the link address, and we're going to paste it here. Then we're going to press the spacebar, and then you have your DOI. Okay, that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. So there you go. So if you need to format a journal article with a DOI, which is usually a good thing, this is how you can do it. Now, one other thing I want to show you is this. These DOIs are actually hyperlinks. As you can see, if you put your little mouse finger over it, it turns into an underlying link. If the link is good, it will take you to the homepage for the article. Cross your fingers that this works. What happens is, a lot of the time, is a journal will be active for a while. Their articles will be legitimate. They'll have DOIs. They'll say, hey, this is where we live on the internet, link your stuff to here. Then suddenly the journal goes under for whatever reason and vanishes. And the link may be broken as a result. So we're going to click on it and hope that it works. So we're going to click on it. And the good thing is that, hey, it's still working. That's good news. Why? Because Springer Link is probably one of the biggest publishers in the world for this sort of thing. And if they ever go out of business, it'd be a very interesting event in the business world. Now, as you can see, you have all the information you need to know. It was published in 2023. It is indeed on page 30,665. That is a gigantic journal. And the names are indeed Tunk and Kumar. It's been read around 12,000 times. It has 31 citations, and it has all sorts of metrics if you like that sort of thing. And the thing is that it's closed source, so you have to log into the library to get it. However, the school library, Husson's library. But the cool thing is, at least you get an abstract. The other thing you can learn about is other articles that are related, which is kind of cool. And you get subject keywords for searches that maybe will match up and help you search for more stuff. Maybe. This is sort of a coin flip. You really don't know what you're going to get here. It's like going to Wikipedia and hoping that the stuff in it is right. It could be, or maybe not. But the rest of it is above. What's similar being viewed, you hear articles that you may find interesting, sort of thing. And the abstract are spot on. And all the information for citations and references are here. Also, when you do download the article from the school, you're going to see at the end of it, there's a reference list of articles that these researchers used for their paper. Those are things that you may want to use for your paper. Why not? If they like it, maybe you should check it out, So there you go. That's today's video. Doing DOIs, formatting a journal article reference, and some word stuff. But remember, one thing you got to keep in mind is this. The bow tie could be used for hanging indents, like here. Okay, I'm going to try to do this correctly. There we go. Or if you want to set it under paragraph, you can as well. I'll show you that before we go. So I'm just going to move it back and put our bow tie back. And I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to drop down the paragraph. And I'm going to say, hey, give me a hanging indent 1/2 inch. And you can kind of see the preview down here. It's kind of tiny, unfortunately. And if you do that, bam, hanging indent. So you can use either the bow tie, or you can use the paragraph arrow drop down thing, whatever you call that. Okay. So there you go. Hopefully you learned a little bit today. Hopefully you found out, hey, there is a cool place to find, DOIs. And you learned a little bit about DOIs. They're just not an indexing thing. It's a way for organizations to track legitimate articles compared to predatory articles. And, the takeaway message from that is this. If you can't find anything like a DOI for your article, you have to ask yourself, is it legit? And if you don't know, feel free to ask me, ask the librarian, ask another geek. We know how to look for these things. We know. We've been doing this for years. So anyways, hopefully this helps out. If you have any questions, ask, and I'll see you later.